For this morning, the topic will be Praise be His name. A continuation on the 144,000, and also we study different characters. We study the characters of Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and today we'll be talking on the tribe of Judah. And for your information, here are the names and the meaning of the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. Reuben, behold the son. That's the meaning. Simeon, heard. Levi, that is to join. Judah, praise or give thanks. This is what we are going to look at this morning. Dan, the meaning of Dan is judge, to judge. Naphtali is to wrestling, to struggle. God is to overcome. Asher, happy, blessed. Issachar, wages or reward. Zebulun, to dwell. Joseph, he will increase. And Benjamin, son of the right hand. So these are, if you don't know, these are the names and the meaning of their names when they were born. Okay. And these are the 12 tribes, the family of Jacob. And from the 4 wives came the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. But brethren, these names, the name or pedigree, separate from your character, has no weight in the records of heaven. Now we have a beautiful name like Lucifer. That's a beautiful name, right? You might have one of the most beautiful names in the world, but without accompanying the character, the proper character, moral character, it has no weight in the records of heaven. And because Reuben failed to cultivate a character worthy of the firstborn, what happened? The one entitled to both temporal and spiritual birthright, the blessing, were taken from Reuben and were given to 3 other sons of Jacob that developed characters worthy of them. Now Joseph, as we know, became a noted business manager in charge of the whole province of Egypt, the whole country of Egypt, become the noted business manager. He was given the double portion of his father's inheritance. But, brethren, it required more than the ability to control great wealth to be entitled to the spiritual birthright. And that spiritual birthright to become the progenitor of the Messiah. And that falls on the part of Judah. Judah was chosen to be the progenitor of the Messiah, meaning from the line of Judah will come out Jesus Christ, the Messiah. And about Judah, 1 Chronicles 5 verse 2, it says, for Judah prevailed above his brethren. Okay? And of him came the chief ruler, but the birthright was Joseph. So it tells us here that Judah prevailed above his brethren and became the chief ruler. And Jacob, before he died, pronounced a blessing upon Judah in Genesis 49 verse 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Shiloh refers to Jesus Christ. It was a prediction of the coming of Christ from the line of Judah. Now, how did Judah prevail above his brethren? How did he prevail above them and inherit the spiritual birthright? This is really a subject that is worthy of careful study by everyone who desires a part in the great spiritual birthright by which we today may become heirs of eternal inheritance. How did he prevail over his brethren? Now, we have no record in the Bible that Judah prevailed over his brethren by force of arms. But a careful study of the lives of the 12 sons of Jacob reveals the fact that Judah was a leader, a born leader. Okay, a born leader. So, take for example, when Judah offered to stand as a surety for Benjamin. Remember the story that they wanted to go back to Egypt to buy food? And Judah said to Jacob, look, I will stand as a surety for Benjamin. If I cannot bring him back, then you have to blame me for the rest of my lives. And Jacob consented to let Benjamin go into Egypt with Judah, of course, although Reuben's offer had been refused. And when Jacob and his family arrived in Egypt, Jacob sent Judah before him unto Joseph to direct his face unto Goshen, and they came into the land of Goshen. So we find here the active role of Judah played in this part. He was chosen by Jacob to be the leader, to direct his face into the land of Goshen. And another thing, interestingly here, in the life of in the life of Judah, is that when the sons of Jacob were in a great perplexity because the ruler of Egypt, which is actually Joseph at the time, demanded Benjamin as a hostage. Now you can go back to your land, but I will take Benjamin as a hostage. So Judah has to intervene, because he promised already Jacob, his father, that he will be the surety. So he intervened and he pleaded for the life of Benjamin. It was Judah who pleaded their cause so earnestly that Joseph threw off his disguise and made himself known unto his brethren. He could not resist the pleading of Judah. And that caused him, he sent off all his guards and royal bodyguards and everyone, and except his brethren. And he introduced himself as who? I am Joseph, your brother. He could not resist the pleadings of Judah. So you see, brethren, by strict integrity to principle, Judah had won the confidence of his father and his brethren. Not by the force of arms, but in the home life. And the whole story here is told in the blessing pronounced over Judah by his father before his death. And continue in Genesis 49 verse 8, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. That's why the name of Judah means what? Praise. Praise be his name. This is the prediction. Thou art he whom thy brothers shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Born leader. But was Joseph, what was the situation of Joseph? Did the brethren of Joseph bow down before him, like in a dream here? Yes, his brethren bowed down before Joseph, but the circumstances, but the situations are different. Who was Joseph? Why did they have to bow down to Joseph? He was the governor of Egypt, next to Pharaoh, so everybody should bow down to Joseph. But for Judah, for his brethren to bow down to Judah, that is a different situation. They did not bow down to Judah because he was the governor of Egypt. They bow down because they respect him because of his moral integrity. Brethren, the brethren of Judah bowed down before Joseph, but the circumstances were different. And what happened? In this quotation from Prophets and Patriarchs and Prophets 236, the crowning blessings of the birthright were transferred to Judah. The significance of the name that denotes praise, Judah means praise, is unfolded in the prophetic history of this tribe. So the lion, the king of the forest, is a fitting symbol of this tribe. Okay, that's why. And from Judah came who? Came David. And the son of David, Shiloh, this is Christ, the true lion of the tribe of Judah, to whom all power shall finally bow and all nations render homage. So Judah is a kingly tribe. Is a kingly tribe. And accordingly, in Proverbs 28, verse 1, what is one of the main characteristics of a lion, for example? Lion is a fierce animal, right? But it has good side. It has good side. The wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion. Could you see here? The wicked flee when no man pursueth. What a coward. Nobody chasing, but they were running away. But even if there is somebody pursue, the righteous were what? Are as bold as lions. This is the courage. This is the courage and the boldness that we need today. Testimonies, Volume 6, 475. Remember that the nearer we approach the time of Christ's coming, the more earnestly and firmly we are to work. Right? We hear about the war that is started in Israel many years ago, since 1948, and just lately, last month. Okay? And many countries are siding whether they are to side with the Palestinians or they are to side with the children of Israel. Support from different nations are there. And what are we going to do with that, brother and sisters? The nearer we approach the time of Christ's coming, the more earnestly and firmly we are to work. For we are opposed by the whole synagogue of Satan. We do not need feverish excitement, but that courage which is born of genuine faith. We need that courage that is the result of true faith, right? Genuine faith. So we have here comparison between Joseph and Judah. Joseph, wealth and position acquired in a foreign land gave him the preeminence. That's why they bowed down to him. But Judah won the respect of his brethren in everyday contact of the home life. That's the main difference. And this confidence was not born in a moment, but day by day, his strict integrity won the respect until of their own free will, not because they were forced, but because of their own free will. Not from the force of circumstances, they praised him and bowed down before him. And how many in Revelation 7 would be under the banner of Judah? 12,000 of the 144,000 will enter the holy city under the name of Judah. Persons who in times of perplexity have been recognized by their brethren as trusted leaders. You know, there are some persons that we really trust as can do something for this matter. Right? We can trust them, but we cannot trust them. We cannot trust such to other person. Okay? And another prediction of Jacob for his son Judah. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey. My son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? Do you know what these words mean? You know the meaning of this? Or have you been reading this? So these words only means that it would be as easy to conquer a lion as to overcome one with the character of Judah. Yes, you can tame a lion. It is easy to conquer lions. Right? Can catch. Many people are going to Africa to catch lions and kill them. It is easy to conquer a lion, but not so easy to conquer a person with a character like Judah. Judah is a character we may covet, that firmness that will not surrender our Christian integrity, but will know for a surety that the Lord is with us when we are assailed by Satan and all his hosts. So we need that. We are living in an age when almost everything is superficial or shallow. There is but little stability and firmness of character, because the training and education of children from their cradle is also what? Superficial. Right? And this is a challenge of the parents nowadays. In order to pacify our children, what we do? Give them mobile phones, give tablets, all right, you watch them. And this is the easy way that we're doing these days. Right? The characters are built upon sliding stand. Self-denial and self-control have not been molded into their characters. So that's why they grow up what? They grow up unstable. So mainly, Reuben's character, unstable as water, and Judah, which is a stable character, are standing opposite each other. Reliable men are very scarce for the reason that the hearts of men are so devoted to their own selfish interests that they know no other. It's hard to find reliable persons these days, right? But, of course, we need to find them. Although it's hard, but we need to find them. It's hard to find gold, but if you want, you can dig. A man, another thing here. A man may not bear the most pleasant exterior. He may be deficient in many respects. But if he has a reputation for straightforward honesty, he will gain the confidence of others. Now, this is a wonderful statement. The love of truth, the dependence and confidence which men can place in him will remove or overbear objectionable features in his characters. trustworthiness in your place and calling a willingness to deny self for the purpose of benefiting others will bring peace of mind and the favor of God. So this is it. What we need is to become trustworthy person. And if that's gonna happen, then of course the confidence of others will be upon us. As I mentioned earlier, that the tribe of Judah is a kingly tribe. The tribe of Judah occupied a position among the other tribes similar to that which their progenitor held in his father's family. So what Judah to the family of Jacob is also the tribe of Judah to the entire nations of Israel. They are always been on the top. And Judah was an independent tribe. What do you mean independent tribe? They could stand alone. For example, after the death of King Saul, they did not wait for other tribes to acknowledge David as king. Although remember that he was anointed earlier. So when Judah heard about the death of King Saul, they did not wait other tribes to recognize David as their king. But they took David and crowned him king of Judah in Hebron. And David reigned over them 7.5 years before he was crowned king over all Israel. And Judah was an independent tribe regardless. All right, never mind. We recognize David as our king. He was anointed by the Lord. If other tribes won't recognize him, we will do that. And before David became the king of all the tribes of Israel, he was crowned king and sitting as king for 7.5 years in Judah alone. And this is the record here. And the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David king over the house of Judah. And they told David, saying, the men of Jabez Gilead were they that buried Saul. And the time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months, 7.5 years. And who was the next king after David? It was King Solomon. And King Solomon passed, after reigning for 40 years, the kingdom of Israel was split into 2 kingdoms. The northern kingdom, composed of 10 tribes, and the southern kingdom, which is what we call today as the kingdom of Judah, which is composed of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. So the kingdom of Judah and Benjamin remained true to the seed of David and formed the kingdom of Judah. And the southern kingdom retained their own land more than 100 years after the kingdom of Israel was carried captive into Assyria. And the tribe of Judah furnished a galaxy of names noted in secret history. No other tribe furnished the world so many mighty men of God. But at the head of all the list of all these incomparable men, at the head of the list, Jesus of Nazareth, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, is on the top of all those characters. And who else that shines in the tribe of Judah? A character that shines in the tribe of Judah. We have Caleb. Caleb's Great faith and dauntless courage has been an inspiration to men of all ages. And in the prime of his life, his faith was strong. When other men, now I remember he was one of the spies that was sent to Canaan. And the 10 tribes, the 10 men carried bad reports. When other men saw only the giants of difficulties in the way of entering the land, he said to the men, to the children of Israel, we are all able to overcome them. He is not afraid of giants. When all others are what? Shrinking and said, we will not be able to conquer the land of Canaan. Why? Because the inhabitants were giants and we are just grasshoppers in their sight. We would be the craziest men if we go and enter and possess them. They are eating the inhabitants of the land. So they were afraid of difficulties, giants. And at the age of 85 years old, he was a soldier at the age of 85. Have you seen a soldier at the age of 85 today? Fighting at the age of 85? Soldier? Nowhere, right? They are retired, right? They are in the pension house or the rest home. But Caleb at the age of 85, he led the tribe of Judah and chase out the stronghold of the giants living in Hebron. That's why the capital of Judah is Hebron. That's where King David was crowned king. And it was occupied before by the race of giants. And Caleb has to chase them out from the land at the age of 85 years old. Brave old warrior was desirous of giving to the people an example that would honor God and encourage the tribes fully to subdue the land which their fathers had deemed unconquerable. Amazing. So, taking the land of Canaan is not an easy task for the children of Israel, Sister Anna. No? They have to fight with all the giants in those times. They are no ordinary people. They are giants. And look, the children of Israel look themselves as just grasshoppers. This is true. In comparing to the size of their structures. However, with God, nothing is impossible. Caleb's are the men most needed in these last days. We need Caleb's today. That which will make our churches vigorous and successful in their efforts is not bustle, but quiet, humble work. That is what we need in the church. Not parade or bombast, but patient, prayerful, and persevering effort. Have you seen a turtle? I've heard about stories when I was in school, a race between the hare and the turtle. But the turtle was what? Slow, steady, patient, and persevere. That's what we need. I don't suggest about being slow. We need only to we need to develop the patient and persevering. Yes. And Caleb's had been greatly needed in different periods of the history of our work. Today, we need men of thorough fidelity, men who follow the Lord fully, men who are not disposed to be silent when they ought to speak. There are times that we have to keep our mouth shut. But when it comes to the time that we are going to speak, we need to speak. We need to stand. We need men who are true as still to principle, who do not seek to make a pretentious show. Who can bend a steel? Have you tried to bend a steel? And we need men like that. The principle that cannot be bent. We need men who walk humbly with God, patient, kind, obliging, and courteous men who understand that the science of prayer is to exercise faith and show works that will tell to the glory of God and the good of His people. Not only always praying, not only having faith, but we need faith that will show, manifest in works. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works. Glorify our Father which is in heaven. We need men to follow Jesus, and Jesus requires wholehearted conversion at the start and a repetition of this conversion every day. For how long are we going to be converted? We need to be converted every day. Right? We need a daily experience of conversion. And talking about noted characters in the tribe of Judah, we have 4 young men here. During the Babylonian captivity, 4 young men of Judah, they were true to their lion-like character of the tribe, risked their lives rather than defile themselves with the royal dainties from the table of the king of Babylon. So to refuse the temptation of yielding to appetite, you must act like a lion. You must refuse. You have the courage to refuse, like Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, and Daniel. And what Daniel said in his heart, Daniel determined in his heart that he would not defile himself with a portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Might be on your case, you might say, oh, that was easy. You might say that was easy. But for Daniel, they need to stand unflinchingly. They should be determined to do this. And Proverbs 23, from verse 1 to 3, this is the principle involved in their choice and how they overcome the clamoring of appetites. When thou sittest to eat with the ruler, consider diligently what is before thee. Many of us may be invited to some dinner, to some gathering. You have to consider, of course, what is before the table. And put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. What does it mean? Is it a literal knife you have to put in your throat? No. That is a complete control of appetite. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. Yes. That's nice. Fried chicken is so nice, but they are deceitful. Why? Do you know why they are deceitful? They are nice, but they are not nice for health. They are deceitful. That's why they are nice they're so nice in our tongue, but what's going to happen at the end, you'll suffer the consequences, illness, and health problems. And so with other meat products. And a few years later, 3 of these men, we know them, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they stand fearlessly before the king of Babylon. Remember that the king of Babylon decreed that all should bow down to the golden image. If you will not bow down, then you will be thrown into the fiery furnace. But 3 of them had determined and said, Be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve your gods. Was that easy choice? The fiery furnace was before them, and they have to make a choice. Whether they have to be thrown into the fiery furnace or bow down. But the Lord did not forget his own, because they chose to be in the sight of the Lord as his witnesses were cast into the furnace. The Savior revealed himself to them in person, and together they walked in the midst of the fire. You know what was the miracle there? 3 persons were thrown into the furnace, and how many persons did the king saw inside? 4. And in the presence of the Lord, that was Jesus Christ, in the presence of the Lord of heat and cold, the flames lost their power to consume. And that is not only a new experience. John, the writer of the book of Revelation, was thrown into the cauldron of boiling oil. But nothing happens to him. And important are the lessons to be learned from the experience of the Hebrew youth on the plain of Dura. What is, why God put this on record for us? There are important lessons. In these our days, many of God's servants, though innocent of wrongdoing, will be given over to suffer humiliation and abuse at the hands of those who, inspired by Satan, are filled with envy and religious bigotry. Especially will the wrath of men be aroused against those who hallow the Sabbath of the 4th commandment. And at last, a universal decree will denounce this as deserving of death. There will be a universal decree that those who worship the Sabbath, those who keep the Sabbath of the 4th commandment will be annihilated. And this is that's why the story of these 3 young men is preserved on record for us. You need to choose, brethren. The seasons of distress before God's people will call for a faith that will not falter. What is distress? It is just coming everywhere, Have you experienced that? That problems, for example, just coming from everywhere. And there's no way out. That is distress. And the seasons of distress before God's people will call for a faith that will not falter. His children must make it manifest that He is the only object of their worship, and that no consideration, not even that of life itself, can induce them to make the least concession to false worship. And this is a life and death choice. But even that of life itself will not be able to hinder them to make concession to false worship. To the loyal heart, the commands of a sinful, finite man will sink into insignificance beside the word of the eternal God. Remember who will make this decree. Who are they, brethren? Who are they in comparison with the God of heaven that we worship? They are just like us, mortals. Truth will be obeyed, though the result be imprisonment or exile or death. And who else from the tribe of Judah? The stand firm. Daniel. And Daniel, true to the integrity of his tribe, for example, faced hungry lions rather than have any interruption in his communion with God. You know the story in Daniel chapter 6. Thus the prophet boldly yet quietly and humbly declared that no earthly powers has the right to interpose between the soul and God. We don't need to protest, to show that we stand this. Daniel was just quiet, humble in his protest. He was just quiet when he went to the room and opened his windows and pray 3 times a day. He did not protest, make a public protest, that decrees unjust and inhuman. Oh, Daniel just continued his ordinary work, his ordinary routine. He just go day by day in a daily basis to his room and open his windows towards Jerusalem and pray. And that is saying that no earthly power has the right to interpose between the soul and God. Surrounded by idolaters, he was a faithful witness to this truth. This is religious freedom. This is how he protests in favor of religious freedom. Quiet but humble. His dauntless adherence to right was a bright light in the moral darkness of the hidden court. Daniel stands before the world today a worthy example of Christian fearlessness and fidelity. So Daniel was just quiet and humble, but that is not say that he is a coward. He stands firmly and strong. But he doesn't need to broadcast, to let everyone knows by protesting, by making an public show. No, he doesn't. He just continue his daily routine. Through the courage of this one man, look at it, through the courage of this one man who chose to follow right rather than policy, Satan was to be defeated and the name of God was to be exalted and honored. And what King Solomon, what happened at the end of the story? The righteous is delivered out of trouble, and the wicked cometh in his stead. What happened to those who plot Daniel's death? They were what? They were thrown into the lion's den. What was their violation? Why the king threw them to the lion's den? Legally, they don't have violation. Right? So why Darius put them into the lion's den? Well, there are many speculations. Right? And one of them is that, no, sir, the lions were not hungry when Daniel was there. So the king said, well, let us try by putting you in there. Well, that is only a speculation, but the story is this. They were thrown into the lion's den, and the lions were hungry enough to eat the guilty persons. That is in Proverbs 11 verse 8. The righteous is saved out of trouble, and the wicked come in his stead. So what lessons we have here? The approval of God is placed on two great lines of duty: the refusal to yield to any known sin and the refusal to omit any known duty. From these instances, the people of God in all ages may derive encouragement. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did not yield to any known sin, because bowing down to the golden image is idolatry. That is known sin to them. So they refused that. And Daniel would not even try to omit any known duty. To pray to the Lord in a regular basis 3 times a day is a known duty. He doesn't want that to be what? To omit. And the approval of God will be placed upon these two great lines of duty. The approval of God, no man can cover his soul with the garments of Christ's righteousness while practicing known sins or neglecting known duties. So God will not approve us if what we know we miss. If we know that it is sin, do not do that. Do not do it. If we know that it is our duty to do it. Remember, this is a warning for us that the approval of God will be placed in these two lines of duty. I'll repeat again: the refusal to yield to any known sin and the refusal to omit any known duty. Let us learn from these instances, brethren, and let us derive encouragement from the lives of those that stand strong in the Lord in the times of crisis. God help us, and God bless you all. Amen.